Okay, we've put the power steering fluid in. It's the Micron, uh, regular Micron, not Micron 4 or 5 or 6. Just regular Micron for 98 and earlier models. And we bled the system. We might have to, after we start it up, turn it left to right, recheck it as the power steering fluid goes through the rack and pinion. We may have to add a little bit more, but we turned the wheel left to right as it was jacked up in the air, and watch the bubbles come out. There's no leaks in the system whatsoever. So now the last thing we're going to do is the rear brakes. We're going to jack the vehicle up and we're going to do the rear brakes. And I'm sorry I didn't go detailed instructions while I was putting everything back together, but you get the idea. From taking it apart, it goes back the opposite. I hate to do it that way, but the part came in late yesterday, so I was pretty much in a rush trying to hurry up and get this car finished because I have to finish this car today. Okay, when doing rear brakes on a Mustang, you got your 13mm bolts for the calipers to come off right there. These are your sliding pins, which seems to be in good shape. And if you notice, look inside there, you'll see a notch right there and a notch right there. Okay, you cannot use one of those what do you call those things you squeeze the caliper in with? Well, you know what I'm talking about. It loses my mind, but you can't use one of those to push the caliper in, because these are rotary type. You'll need this service tool right here, and it has those two little holes, and those two little holes, you want to get this lined up inside there. I'll get it lined up and show it to you. I had to clean some dirt out of the groove back here, but if you notice, you'll see those little grooves in there, and it's sitting horizontal. You want to make sure when you twist that rotor, when you twist that caliper back in the brake chamber, that you have it at that same angle, or else you ain't going to get those brakes to line back up. Because if you look on the back of the brakes back here, you'll see these grooves right here. That has to match that, or else they'll never line up. So that's what you have to do, and it's going to be on both sides of the brake pads. So you're going to have to make sure that groove line up. But he got some kind of dirt that was caked up around this area here on the back of that pad. So now let me show you the tool once again. Ford service tool, you'll line those tangs up with these little tangs that's in here. They line up with inside the brake, and then you want to put this part, the back against here, and you pull back on it and it tightens it up, and then you just twist the caliper in, and that's how you get to do the Ford rotors, or the Ford brake caliper to go back inside the bore. Let me give you some important information. Never let your brakes get down to, look at that, just about the bare metal. The warning devices are worn. See that? They're scarred off from the rotor on both sides. And people hear that noise and they just keep riding. What happens here is this right here is the piston. That piston is extended all the way out, and when you got low brakes like that, it only has a small distance to travel to put the brakes on, and a small distance to go back. And when you drive around for so long like that, that piston gets frozen and you can't push it back in there. So now this is going to be a costly job, and you're going to take up more time, because you're going to need a new caliper, because I can't free that up. And most likely the other side is going to be the same way, that caliper is going to be frozen. And then when you're changing brake calipers, now the brakes has to be bled. It's just a whole nother challenge. So I'll let him know when he gets here. Fortunately, I always think outside the box and be smarter than what I'm doing. Before I spend other people's money, I took a adjustable wrench and put it on the outside here because my handle was beginning to bend, and I'm able to twist it, and the caliper is going inside the bore now. It's going slow, but I'm going to watch it. And then I have the hood up, and I'm making sure that no fluid comes out of the power steering reservoir, the brake reservoir. If it does, I'll suck a little out. Now, something to note when using this tool, we're going clockwise to turn the piston in, but this bolt here has to be turned counterclockwise so you can keep pressure on that, so you can keep pushing that piston all the way into the bore. Okay, as you see, we got it back horizontal where it's supposed to be. So I'm waiting for the new brakes to arrive. So we did free it up. So now these are the sliding pins, and you see they're pretty good. But anyway, you just pull on the sliding pins and they pop right out. And what you want to do is slide this off the rubber, and then you want to dry this up and put some new grease on here. Okay, I got the grease on the, I already did the top sliding pin. Now I'm going to do the bottom, and when I push it in, I just let the grease soak around it, and you'll see that boot clip onto that once you push it in, and it clicked right to it. And that's what you want. And then you want to make sure it's on all the way around, and that it's got nice play in it. And that's what you want. That way these sliding pins don't get frozen on you. And then I want you to look at that angle. You got to remember that specific way that these line back up. So be mindful of that. This is what the tool looked like inserted in the brake holder. This piece right here that's behind the caliper, you have to slide over the top of that handle, and then it'll slide down past there, and you want to screw that all the way in so you can get that piece that connects to the little slots inside the brake rotors there. And then you want to get it, like I said, real tight, but that's what it looked like it's on there. This holds up against here, and you just twist the caliper all the way back in the bore. And that's how you do rear brakes on Ford Mustang. And this covers probably all Mustangs, as far as I know. I can just go back from 94 to 04. It may be the same thing with Fox bodies. I'm not sure. I never worked on a Fox body. But I found these on a lot of Fords. The Ford 500. They're found on Buicks. Some of the Buicks have these same rotary type calipers in the rear. So if you guys are interested in getting this disc brake pad and caliper service toolkit, it's called Maddox Superior Automotive Tools. The part number is MF11-1, and I got it from Harbor Freight, and I believe it was $29.99 or something like that. It wasn't expensive at all. And this is the handle right here. This is the part that goes to back off with the brake caliper, and you just find the size that fits into the slot. And this is the one that fits into the slot for me. This number 6, or number 9 if you want to call it. That's a number 6. Number 9, this is the one that fits for Mustangs. I did my Cobra with it. It's a 99 and this is a 95, so it's not much difference. And that fit, and you see where it connects to right there. Now when you need to get the caliper centered, vertical, or all you do is just stick this in there and make sure you get that vertical or horizontal, just like that. So that way the brake will go back in there. Okay, to produce brake squeal, we got brake lube on the face of the rotor where it goes inside the piston and on the arms there. And you want to put some on the ears on each side of the brakes. Okay, on these sliding pins, this one, you see that beveled angle edge? That one faces up, this one faces down, and they go into the grooves that are on here and on the other, on the bottom side where the caliper holder goes on. And if you notice, you'll see some like stuff that goes on thread sealant. So I always put the Loctite on when I work with brake bolts so they don't back out. So I always put Loctite on them. And also you can put grease on the back of these. Also, that'll stop grinding noises. Okay, we reconnected the battery, and we're getting ready to crank her up and back her up just a little bit. Let her run, check the power steering, and listen how it sounds. Okay, she's running. The power steering's been bled. There's no squeaking or squealing. And the front end is nice and tight. I think I really nailed that alignment. That steering wheel is straight. And there's no wobbling going down the road or drifting. It's pretty close to the alignment, but a little bit, maybe they got to do something with the caster camera, but it's pretty straight. That steering wheel is straight. So here's the steering wheel, centered, nice and straight. Now if we go out to the front of the car, I focus in, nice and straight. Focus in on the passenger side, nice and straight. Did a really good job here. And you turn the wheel, no power steering whine. I bled her. She's good to go. So I just got the other rim, the rear, which has the 285 35 18s in the rear. So that's a brand new tire right there. So we're going to take that donut tire off and put this 285 back on here so it matches the other side. And we're all done with this. No leaks. And I tell you what, that doggone steering wheel is straight as an arrow. I think I did a pretty good job aligning it, putting on the racket pinion with the outer tie rods. I got those adjusted just right, and it drives in a straight line. You can let go of that steering wheel. It goes straight. There's no wobbling. It's not over the road. I mean, it's like it's a brand new front end alignment. But anyway, got to take it to the front end alignment anytime you mess with the front end, the things we did. So I'll be giving the car back tomorrow, but we're going to be test driving it more in the morning, and they'll come pick it up sometime tomorrow. Rev it up, Mustang Fanatic Productions Mechanic Edition. Like and subscribe. It's a never change of donut tire for the original 285 tire that goes on the rear. He had one broken stud, but another stud broke off, and putting these big tires in the back, you gotta have at least 4 studs. So I got my sound detonators on, eye protection, and get ready to bang some studs out. So as you see, I took the caliper off as a whole, and then I got the drum off, but I had to disconnect the brake line here. There's that little clip right there that you take off, and then you can just push that through the hole, and that'll give you room to get rid of that. And now I'm going to bang that stud out, and then I'm going to go get 2 new ones and then put those on. 2 studs banged out, Glad I had my ear protection on. It was pretty loud. Fanatic Productions Mechanic Edition. We got the 2 studs. We banged the studs out. Now, these studs wouldn't go in here because their heads were too big. So what I did, you can see, I grinded down one side on an angle so to fit past this where the ABS rolls against, and that was able to slide it in. Then what you want to do is take and find something to fit over this, and then use your lug nut to draw that all the way in. So that's how you do the rear studs on these things. You got to use a file and file it down so you can get it past that. Okay, we got one new stud in, and we have a spacer and a lug nut that fits on here, and we got that on. Now we're going to take it off. We got to file one more down and get that in. We now have 5 lug nuts instead of 3, and we're going to put our 285 4018 on, and we're done with this baby. Rev it up. Mustang Fanatic Productions Mechanic Edition. We're in the 95 Mustang GT. We're out test driving it, and as you can see, the steering wheel is straight, and it's not all over the place. Let go of the wheel, we're still going straight. Hit the brakes, we still going straight, and she just runs really good. There's no sloppiness. I'm not even holding the wheel. It's got good power. We're up to 50, and we just went over a bump. That felt good. We're gonna get up to 55. We're at 60 right now. You can see the wheel in my hand. I'm holding with one finger. There's no shimmying, no shaking. The front end is nice and solid. No hands. Switching lanes. She is running outstanding. Front end is nice and tight. Oh boy, this is going around the curve. Look at the steering wheel. Look at my finger. One finger. One finger. This steering wheel is nice and straight. The alignment guys will be proud of me. They might want to give me a job. Rev it up, Mustang Fanatic Productions Mechanic Edition. Like and subscribe.